No.
Hey bro, can you be my accountability partner? This secular culture is really making it hard to guard my heart. And I'm afraid that I might backslide. Hashtag in the world, but not of it. What does that even mean? Unless you're like me and you grew up in the church or have at least been around it for a lengthy amount of time, you probably don't know what half of the words that I just said were. And you probably don't care. But that's the problem with Christianese, as I call it. It's a slang and a jargon that gets thrown around in the church, and it really does make it hard to spread the gospel whenever all you use when you talk about church and religion is this slang. You use clips and phrases of stuff that you hear on a Sunday morning, and then you take that out into the street and you try and talk to people, but they don't understand and they probably don't care. All believers have been tasked with carrying out the Great Commission, to go and preach and bring people in. And that becomes very hard whenever the people that you're talking to can't understand you. Slang and jargon, like Christianese, are naturally exclusive, and they relate to specialized interests and groups, and all they really do at the end of the day is prove who's an insider and who's an outsider. And the insiders are cool, the outsiders are outsiders, and they will stay outside, mainly outside of the church. Whenever you use Christianese, you put up a wall. And you put up a wall because you kind of want to hide behind it. Whenever you use words like that, you use slang, and you use the words that you've heard your pastor say, you probably do it because you admire and you respect your pastor, and you want to be viewed like that by other people when you talk. You want to look like you know what you're doing and you have your life together like you view your pastor. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that the people that you're talking to aren't in church, and they won't understand you, and they probably won't care. And going beyond having a way for you to hide, it also gives them a place to hide. And they hide behind not knowing, and that's all they're ever going to do is not know. They're not going to go and look up what the word that you said meant, like you might if you hear a word that you don't understand. They're just going to accept it and maybe interpret that wrong, and if they do come to church, they might have a flawed theology based on something that they heard you say because they never went and looked it up for themselves. Whenever you don't have a common background with the person that you're talking to, you can't use slang. You have to use a language that you both use. It would be like you're talking in a different language whenever you talk in Christianese. They won't understand you, and like I said, they're not going to go look it up. They're not going to go look at the verse that you took and kind of paraphrase to fit what you were trying to say. I recently started giving guitar lessons, and I found this one out firsthand. Whenever I gave my first lesson, I was talking like I was talking to an equal, someone who had been playing for as long as me and knew what I knew. But I couldn't do that. I was skipping steps. And whenever you use slang with baby Christians or non-believers, you're skipping steps. They haven't got the base yet. They don't understand the in-depth stuff because they don't understand the beginning. You have to start at the beginning and then work your way up, just like you're teaching anything. The excessive use of Christianese will completely hurt your chances of ever reaching anyone. I'm remembering an example from Michael J. Kruger where he said that preach the word and use words if you have to is a great idea, and we should do that. Basically, the saying is, don't talk about it, be about it, and that's great. But if a person hears that and then they only do the actions and they never use their words, how are they ever going to invite someone to church? And growing the church, growing the body should be our mission, because that's what the Great Commission says. Jesus gave us one parting word: go and preach. If you're going and preaching in a language that people don't understand, why are you preaching at all? And I really think William Butler Yeats said it best. Think like a wise man, but communicate in the language of the people. That says it all. Think up here. Figure out what you're going to say. But when you say it in a way that people will understand.